editor, and I'm joined here with Mark Nerich, representing St. Mary's, and Dave Dugan, representing Bishop Fenwick, who both played in the 1989 game. So guys, when you think back to the Thanksgiving Day games that you played in, what are some of the memories that come back? Mark, we'll start with you.
Just the tradition of it, really. As the youngest of 6 children, we all went to St. Mary's, so ever since I was a young child, I remember the Fenwick and St. Mary's rivalry. So just being a part of it was exciting for me.
And Dave, what about you?
It's funny, I was the oldest of 3, and myself and my 2 brothers went to Fenwick, but a lot of kids in my neighborhood went to Fenwick. So I was going to that game probably when I was in 5th or 6th grade. So once you got in there, you just really wanted to be a part of it, and the tradition, and having the schools so close to each other, I think meant for a better game and a better rivalry too.
When you think back to the game that you played as seniors, what are some of the things that kind of come right up to your memory?
I just remember this guy had a heck of a game, and we couldn't stop him. I think you had something like 189 yards and maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns. And I remember going into the game, our coach Jimmy Lyons said, we got to figure out a way to stop Mark, and I don't think we ever did. I guess when I look back, I'm just real thankful we scored first, and we didn't have he didn't have another chance to score on us. So
really, it was just the end of our football careers. So in high school, anyways, and it just it meant a lot, not only just for our schools, but our families, and just it was really exciting.
And how bittersweet was that? It's such a big game. There's so much tradition involved in it and rivalries. But for a lot of kids, it is their last game. What was it like for you guys going into those games?
Well, like you said, for a lot of kids, it's their last time playing football. I was fortunate enough to go on and play in prep school and in college. But you go to practice every day, and you're with these guys every day, and you put a lot time and effort into it, and then. This is the culmination of the whole thing, but it's something that you remember the rest of your life. I mean, it really means a lot to the players,
And Dave, as a coach, what do you tell kids going into this game? For some of them, it will be the last time they play organized football.
That it's the last time you're going to play, and this is it, and this is the game that you remember. And we've been talking this week that. When you get together with your football buddies, that's the game you're going to talk about, and that's the game we still talk about, all the guys I played with. And, Thanksgiving for me was kind of bittersweet because I knew going into the game, that was pretty much it. After playing football for 11 years, that was going to be it. And, when you walked off the field and you're kind of walking off with all your buddies thinking, what am I going to do Monday? I'm not going to practice anymore. Right. And then I had to go to basketball practice, and as much as I love basketball, it wasn't the same as football. So.
And I know you said you have some mutual friends on both sides of the rivalry. What is it like when you get together with those guys? You still remember, hey, guess who won that game?
Well, I mean, being friends with Peter Phelps, who was on that team. I think whenever he comes over the house, there's always 3 or 4 Fenwick guys that played in that game, so he kind of gets a little outnumbered a little bit. But again, and it was a great game, and it could have gone either way. And I don't think really out of the rivalry of 4 years, I don't think maybe one game one team blew each other out, but every other game was very competitive, and either team could have won depending on who had the ball last or what the circumstances were.
What about you, Mark?
Just the like we were just talking about, just really it's the last, you see it in the movies, and they they remember the old days and what things were like, and it really does. You don't realize it then, but like at our age, we go back and think about it, and you talk to different people, and you went to Fenwick, you remember this or that, and it's just you don't know it at the time, but it's very special. When I got out of school, I coached at Lynn English for 8 years, so I got to know what the English classical rivalry was like, and it's the same. It's great just to have that type of rivalry and to have it come back with Fenwick. It was good when St. Mary's played Tech, but it wasn't the same. Peabody and Saugus, they played for years, and then they broke apart and they're back. So I'm very excited, especially now. My daughter's actually in the 6th grade at St. Mary's, so it's actually more something I look forward to
Almost
being
feels
part
like
of.
it's coming full
Yeah,
circle now.
yeah, exactly.
And you both have such long-standing involvement with the teams, and to have the rivalry back now, how do you have to tell the kids who are playing now just how much that means?
Not really, because I mean we have a good amount of Lynn kids that are on the team, and they kind of all know each other from playing other sports now. So I think that kind of adds to the rivalry. Like when we were in high school, I don't think we didn't play sports with kids from other teams because we didn't play a lot of AAU or all the things that they do. But these kids play a lot with each other, and and they're friends with it. So the intensity, they know what it means, and and our guys are excited, and I'm sure Coach Dugan and his boys are excited to play on Thanksgiving. They might be a little bit more excited playing this weekend in the Eastern Mass Final, but I'm sure that Wednesday night they're going to be real excited and ready to go.
Well, and Dave, you're coaching now. Mark, you've coached. So how does that affect the team? St. Mary's will be played the weekend. Bishop Fenwick will have the long break. How do you see that affecting both teams?
I don't really see it affecting it too much because at the end of the day, I think it's still Thanksgiving. And I don't think either team's really going to change what we've done over the whole year. I mean, we might have a few more days to, prepare for them, but, East Bridgewater runs the spread, we run the spread, so the concepts for them are probably going to be the same. And I'm sure they'll probably put in a few wrinkles, as we'll have a few wrinkles, but, I think for us, we're kind of playing that it gives us a little bit more time to prepare, but at the end of the day, it probably doesn't really matter.
What about you, Mark?
Being out of the coaching ranks at this time, it's kind of hard to, know the ins and outs, but it's going to be Thanksgiving again. So I know they just played a couple weeks ago, and it's going to be, they're going to be looking forward to getting another shot at them. And St. Mary's, I'm sure, wants to continue on what they've accomplished so far this year. So, I'm just glad it's back.
Do you each have a favorite memory of either a game you played in or watched or anything like that from Thanksgiving Day?
For me, it's that night before that Thanksgiving Day game because that was a special moment, I think, for all of us, and just playing in that game and playing in the Manning Bowl, and because we didn't get a lot of chances to play in the Manning Bowl.
Right, for Lynn kids to come back and be able to play there, it was great.
And playing the night before, and there was a lot of people there. It felt like 10,000. There probably wasn't, but the old bowl, it gave you that feel of like a big time college game. And when they were introducing us, your adrenaline is flying. You don't feel, it was freezing that night, but you don't feel any cold. You don't feel anything until you're in the shower after the game going, how did I get that? Like, where did that come from?
Road rash.
Yeah, but it was really, you felt like you were playing in a Super Bowl.
Right, yeah. Well, and, we were talking off camera about that night. Because of the weather that was coming in, you guys pretty much had the stage to yourself that night. So, what was that like, trying to beat the storm that stopped everybody else from playing on Thanksgiving Day that year?
It was fun. It's funny because we were talking about, and we didn't even wear our cleats that night. It was so cold that we were like, all right, everyone bring your sneakers just in case. And once we got to the field, we're like, put the sneakers on. And, so it was like playing on the old AstroTurf that they talk about. It's not like it is today, but, it was for as cold as it was and the conditions, it was football, and it was two teams that, knew what was at stake. It was, the end of the year and the end of a lot of careers, and it was a great game. Like you said, I think, for a time there, Fenwick was really a dominant team, and St. Mary's was an average team, but it didn't matter Thanksgiving night or Thanksgiving Day. You're going to have two teams battling.
Yeah.
What was it like playing in the Old Bowl on a regular basis, Mark?
It was awesome. It really was. You don't realize it until it's gone, but so I look back and I was fortunate enough to play there for my career, but when I was coaching, I got to see the conditions of it, and you go in the locker room, and it was just difficult for the city to keep up with it. I'm sad it's gone, but I'm glad they have the new place there. They did a great job with it, and it's a place for people, from everywhere to come to, and we have all the MIA events there, and it's a first-class facility now.
Right. And Dave, what was it like for you going into the Old Bowl, sort of coming in as the visiting team.
Well, I think as soon as we pulled up on the bus, we were being yelled at right away. People were yelling and screaming at us, and you knew right away getting off the bus, here we go, it's going to be.
Yeah, you had to go through the gates.
You had to go through the gates, and people were always yelling at you and hanging over, saying, Fenwick, you guys stink. But it really gave a nice feel to the game, though. And it was, the new field is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but you miss a little of that, the crowd kind of being on top of you and the atmosphere. But, I mean, I think Mark's right. You know, by the time they were getting ready to close up the bowl, it had kind of seen its time. And the new facility now it's really beautiful. Yeah. So.
What would be some advice that you'd give kids going into Thanksgiving Day this year?
I would just say, I'd say just enjoy every moment, you know, because you never know if you're ever going to get an opportunity to play with all your friends and all the things that happen, and play every play like it's your last, because this is the game you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
Dave, what do your players ask you about now? Is there any specific question or theme that sort of comes up?
Well, I mean, I think the theme is, you know, because we haven't played St. Mary since, was it 93 or 94 the rivalry ended? Yeah. But, you know, they look, well, what was it like? And I said, well, everything's kind of ramped up a few notches. And, you know, because you know that, you know, you're the only game in town. And I think playing the night before, some people like it, some people don't. Personally, I like it because for our guys and the St. Mary's guys, they're going to have a huge crowd there. And I think it's really going to add a lot of drama and intensity to the game. You know, and from our perspective, you know, our guys we got to try to stop Abraham Toe. We got to try to stop Calvin Johnson. They're two phenomenal players in our league, and Coach Dugan and Coach Dana and those guys over there, they do a really nice job of preparing and getting everything ready. And, you know, even though they're rivals, you know, we have the utmost respect for those guys. And we just got to try to play and try to make some plays and get some stops. So if we can do that, maybe we have some chances. So. And
then they can be sitting in your place in a few years.
Exactly, because they were asking me, like, well, what are you doing tonight, Coach? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm going with, you know, Mike Nerich, and we're going to talk about the game. And I said, who knows? I said to Cody Mullen, I said, maybe you and Abraham Toe in 25 years will be talking about this game. So, but it's...
Did they just roll their eyes?
Yeah, they look at me like, yeah, whatever, Coach. So.
All right, guys, thank you very much. It was great having you here. And we wish you the best of luck.